हेलो एंड अ वेरी वार्म वेलकम टू ऑल ऑफ यू। आप सभी का स्वागत है हमारे चैनल इंडियन मास कम्युनिकेशन में। इन दिस वीडियो लेक्चर वी आर गोइंग टू लर्न अबाउट theories of ethics, which is a very important part in media ethics and law. And there have been several PYQs which have been asked from this topic. So first we are going to learn about the concept theories like virtue ethics, utilitarianism, deontology, okay, justice, concept of justice. So dear students, जल्दी से आप पहले मुझे बताइए कि आपको मेरी आवाज़ क्लियर आ रही है. There is no technical issue, then we shall start. Okay. So we have with us a lot of people. Good evening, Anamika, Sughasini, Sujata, Priyam, Bishal, Shrisha, Shwetank, Faisal, Sudeshna, Ayushi, Sonal, and I can see other people also joining. So meanwhile, if you are new to my channel, my name is Tushar Goyal. I am a Ph.D. research scholar at Center for Media Studies, JNU. I have also qualified JRF and other media related exams. So you can consider subscribing to our channel if you have already not yet done. And you can also visit our website. There you can find a lot of PYQs, PDFs. Okay. So the links to all of them will be in the description box. And a very happy Holi to all of you, Bidhan. Okay. So let us begin. So dear students, let us first run through few PYQs. Okay. Don't give me answers. Don't get overwhelmed. It's just I want to tell you how they are asking you questions. There have been several questions which have been asked from theories of ethics. Okay, this is a very interdisciplinary concept when we talk about ethics. So ethics, we face moral dilemma in our day-to-day lives, whether it is business, our professional life, our personal lives. Okay, so this is a very, you can say, interdisciplinary topic. और जब हम मीडिया लॉ एंड एथिक्स की बात करते हैं, अपने डे टू डे जो मीडिया प्रैक्टिशनर होते हैं या रिसर्चर्स होते हैं, आपके भी रिसर्च से संबंधित एथिक्स हैं. ओके, सो अभी हम थ्योरीज पढ़ रहे हैं जो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. देखो किस तरह से इन्होंने इन डेप्थ क्वेश्चन पूछे गए हैं. टू विच एथिकल थ्योरी डज द स्टेटमेंट डू अनटू अदर्स एज यू वुड हैव देम टू डू अनटू यू बिलोंग टू. ओके, देन द एथिकल क्लासिफिकेशन ऑफ कैटेगोरिकल इम्पेरेटिव्स वाज सपोर्टेड बाय हु. Then Immanuel Kant developed which theory? They've also asked which of the models, following methods or models is used to make decisions related to ethical dilemmas in media. Then a question which is based on match the following pattern, and there are several others also. So what I have done, that this will be a two-part class. In today's lecture we are going to learn about all the foundational theory of ethics. Okay, virtue ethics, then theological ethics, then the idea of deontology. Okay, and then next class we are going to learn about some advanced theories. Okay, like theory of justice, wheel of ignorance. Okay, so दोस्तों in a line or two आप लोग ही मुझे बताइए, what do you think, what is ethics? Okay, you have used this term many a times. Okay, you say na that this is very unethical or this is against the ethics. So ethics, what is ethics? Ethics is deciding what is right or wrong. Okay, और हम अपने डे टू डे लाइफ में बहुत बार आप कह लीजिए एक मॉरल डिलेमा फेस करते हैं. ओके, whether it's in the professional setup, personal setup, whether we are learning about business, okay, or law or media, anything, or research. हम कहते हैं ना कि this is against the ethics of research what you are doing. So ethics is a branch of philosophy that studies human behavior and the difference between the right or wrong. So नैतिक और अनैतिक के बीच में ये हम कोशिश करते हैं जानने की कि जो हमारे एक्ट्स हैं, जो हमारी क्रिया है या जो हमारे डिसीजन है, whether they are right or wrong. Okay, and it also examines the rational justification for the moral judgments. So let us look at some references. Okay, let us look at Arjun from Mahabharata. Okay, if you have read Bhagavad Gita, so in the very first chapter Arjun is facing the moral dilemma to whether fight or not to fight. Okay, so or when we talk about say literature, when Hamlet Hamlet is facing that moral dilemma, what should I do after this all deception, to be or not to be. Okay, so or when we look at it from the perspective of media, so say a reporter or a correspondent or a sub editor or a news editor, okay, they face a lot of moral dilemmas, as you guys are saying. Okay, so a reporter might face a moral dilemma whether to report a sensitive issue that might have a negative impact on the lives of people, or let us discuss some other kind of moral dilemma. Many a times, wait. So a news correspondent might face a moral dilemma. Let's say, let's take a case study. Okay, so there is a journalist, and she gets access to certain images. Okay, एक जर्नलिस्ट है और एक न्यूज़ कॉरेस्पॉन्डेंट है, आप मान लीजिए उसको एक एक्सेस मिलता है कुछ इमेजेस का, लेट्स से COVID-19. Okay, and she gets, or he or she gets access to images of, you can say, a lot of dead bodies. Okay, or from images, these are from disaster zone that might accurately depict the situation, but they are very distressing. Okay, they might be also against the code of ethics to publish those images. So should that journalist use those images or not? Okay, it's a moral dilemma. So one side of it is that if publishing those images can lead to these all, or the government takes some measures to stop it, सो और वेदर इट्स अगेंस्ट द, ठीक है, मॉरल डिलेमा है. मैं आपसे यही बता रहा हूँ कि एक जर्नलिस्ट है, उसके पास कुछ इमेजेस हैं, आप आप फर्ज कीजिए कि कोविड-19 में जो इतना ज़्यादा विध्वंस हुआ था, ओके, और जिसमें इतने सारे लोगों ने अपनी जान खो दी थी. सो एक ऐसी इमेज जिसमें जो रियलिटी है वो अच्छे से निकल के आ रही है, बट दैट इमेज इज टू डिप्रेसिंग, और दैट माइट बी ऑल्सो अगेंस्ट द प्रोफेशनल एथिक्स ऑफ जर्नलिज्म. वेदर दैट जर्नलिस्ट शुड पब्लिश दोज इमेजेस और नॉट. Okay, or let's take an example of Arjun. Okay, whether to, so in the very first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, okay, Arjun is facing that moral dilemma whether to fight or not. ठीक है, वो भगवान श्री कृष्ण से यही पूछते हैं ना कि why should I fight all these people, they are all my relatives. Okay, they are my teachers, they are my fathers, and some of them might be my grandchildren also. So whether should I fight them or not. So जो ये थ्योरीज होती है, ये एक फ्रेमवर्क होती है, ये एक तरह से आप कह लीजिए एक नज़रिया होता है हमारे एक्ट्स को जज करने का, एक लेंस होता है जिससे हम परखते हैं कि वेदर दैट डिसीजन इज मॉरल और इमोरल. ओके, सो व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट द थ्योरीज ऑफ एथिक्स, देयर आर की मॉरल फिलॉसफीज. सो वन इज कॉन्सिक्वेंशियलिज्म, ओके, द थियोलॉजिकल एथिक्स, so which focuses on consequences. अभी हम इन सबको बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग एग्जाम्पल से समझेंगे. ओके, इट्स जस्ट अ ब्रीजर. देन इज डियोंटोलॉजी which focuses on duty. Okay, and third is virtue ethics which focuses on character. So let us begin. There are several questions which have been asked from this topic. So I'm also going to curate a small test on just theories of ethics of 20 questions, which will be live after tomorrow's class. Okay, so apart from the all the PYQs of last 10 years from this topic, there will be one more test on theories of ethics. Okay, so let's take an example. A journalist has a graphic images from disaster zone that accurately depict the situation but are very distressing. Okay, there are photographs of dead bodies or people succumbing to death. So let us begin with all of you. You have to tell me in a line or two, just in a line or two, if you were in her shoes, whether you were going to publish those images or not. Okay, so will she post them or not? Or there might be situations. Okay, so let's say in order to get some important information, you might have to hide your identity. So but the impact of that story could be, you know, very good. So what do you think, if you were in her shoes, what were you going to do? Are you going to publish those images or not? So there are two things. One is it is against the ethics. Other thing is that it might create an impact which might be beneficial to the society. So what do you guys think? What are you going to do? So see, ethics might sound simple, but when we apply them in our day-to-day practice or day-to-day life, it is a very complex phenomena, isn't it? So when we talk about the first theory, which is Pragya will probably blur the image, will publish but trigger warning and blurring graphic parts. Okay, So dear students, when we talk about teleological or consequentialism, it talks about consequence. Okay, so the uh, gist of it is that moral rightness of an action is determined by solely its result. So end should justify the means. Okay, so as a journalist, if this might be against the professional ethics of journalism, but the end of this, or you can say the final outcome, if it is beneficial for the society, then it is a moral act, what this theory suggests. Okay, so the word teleological comes from Greek word telos, which means end or the purpose. So it means that end justifies the means. Okay, so what does it states? That consequentialism or teleological theory suggests that if consequences are good, then act is right. Okay, if they are bad, then act is wrong. So we know that speaking lie is wrong. Okay, but if that lie can save the lives of thousands of people, then that lie also becomes, वो झूठ भी moral बन जाएगा. Okay, so inaction is considered right if it leads to good outcome and wrong if it leads to bad outcome. The specific nature of good and bad outcomes, the specific nature, it talks about the specific nature of good or bad outcomes. So the end justifies the means. मतलब जो final outcome है उसको आप किसी भी तरीके से करो, but the final outcome should be beneficial to for the society. Okay, so if we take example of Mahabharata, okay, I am taking the example of Mahabharata because it is very, you can say, you can connect with it. Okay, so there are many instances where you can apply this. Okay, so killing of, or you can say Duryodhan. Okay, so Arjun attacks Duryodhan on his thighs, which was against the moral code of the war or that Gada fight. Okay, or there are several instances where they break the code of war, but in order to achieve the path of dharma. Okay, so when we talk about that news correspondent, if that particular image, according to this theory, if it can lead to action from the government, okay, or if it can mobilize people to a certain issue, then that act might also become moral or ethical. Okay, I hope this is clear. So consequentialism, it states that ethics at large may be defined as the art of directing men's action to the production of greatest utilitarianism. Okay, so what is utilitarianism? Greatest good for greatest number. So the problem with the idea of consequences, we cannot, you can say, हम जो हमारे act का outcome है, we cannot predict it. Okay, so utilitarianism is an expansion of consequentialism only. It was given by Jeremy Bentham and later added by John Stuart Mill. So it states that we can never predict the consequences of our, we can not easily predict the consequences of our acts. So the measure of ethic is the utility. So the greatest good for greatest number. So let's say if we are talking about this photographs. Okay, so there might be families, okay, of those of those deceased one who might not feel happy, or they might approve of it, but if it can lead to a greater good, so it will become ethical according to this theory. So greatest good for greatest number. The best action is one that maximize utility. So utilitarian theory talks about the utility of our action. Okay, if it creates maximum happiness for greatest number, or it reduces pain for great amount of people, okay, then it becomes ethical. So the best action is the one that maximizes utility, typically defined as that which produces greatest well-being of the greatest number of people. So this was given by Jeremy Bentham. इसको learn करना बहुत जरूरी है. Match the following में बहुत बड़ी proponent और theory का नाम ही पूछ लेते हैं, ठीक है? So Jeremy Bentham is generally considered to be the one of the founders of consequentialism and utilitarianism. Then there was a problem with the idea of utilitarianism, which was Bentham's utilitarianism has been criticized for worthy of only swine. So the idea greatest good for greatest number, actually it can be a very dangerous idea. Okay, so if greatest you can say when we talk about majoritarianism, अगर ज़्यादा लोग कुछ गलत चीज़ चाहते हैं, ठीक है, then it becomes immoral. So let's say a greater number of people in a society, they are against the basic values of freedom or liberty or dignity of a certain other community. So it can also lead to a lot of problem. Okay, so this was countered by John Stuart Mill, who distinct between higher and lower pleasures. So he argued that some kind of happiness are valuable, more valuable than others. Okay, so he also added the idea of justice. Okay, so the problem with Bentham's idea that greatest good for greatest number, sometimes when we talk about majoritarianism, okay, a lot of people, they might be against you can say the rights of you can say or minority people, okay, or the people they don't like. So John Stewart actually distincts between the kind of pleasures, okay, higher pleasure and lower pleasures, and he argues that some kind of happiness are inherently more valuable than others. Okay, how many years will it take? Minimum max, what is scope of PhD? Okay, I shall make a video about it, Hina. Okay, let's not digress in this topic. So let us summarize the basic tenets of theological or consequentialism. So outcome based, it judges the morality of action based on the outcomes or results. Okay, so the end justifies the means. Okay, then we have already talked about end justifies the means. Then utility, it measures actions based on their contribution to the overall happiness or well-being. Then goal oriented, okay, it are I owe 85% marks to the media law subject to youth. Okay, very good, Ankita, really glad you are finding our videos helpful. Thank you. Okay, so let's look at this question. Match the following ethical concepts with their originator. So till now, which theory have you heard about? You have learned about the concept of utilitarianism or consequentialism, theological theories. Okay, so this will be matched with, just tell me the name of the proponent of this particular concept. We have learned about this till now. Okay, principle of utilitarianism is going to be matched with John Stuart Mill. अभी हमने discuss किया था. Okay, so the idea was originally originated by Jeremy Bentham, but there was criticism about the greatest good for greatest number. Okay, so principle of utilitarianism will be matched in this particular question with John Stuart Mill. Okay, who made the distinction between higher and lower pleasures. Okay, so some kind of happiness are inherently more valuable than others. ठीक है, चलिए. Then comes the idea of deontology. Okay, so it has been originated from Greek word deo, which means duty. So let us take example of Arjuna. Okay, so what Shri Krishna tells Arjuna, that it is his duty to fight. Okay, so it talks about duty. What is the moral code of ethics or rules? Okay, so ethical actions follow universal moral laws such as don't lie, don't steal, don't cheat. Okay, so Immanuel Kant, he is considered as the founder of deontological ethics. The word deontology derives from the Greek word deon, which means duty. So in this case, when we were talking about this journalist, it was her duty not to publish those images because it was against the, you can say, professional code of ethics. So when we talk about deontology, we talk about duty, we talk about professional code of ethics, like code of ethics of journalists, code of ethics of PR professionals. Okay, and it talks about objectivity. So some laws are universal, like don't kill, we know that killing is bad, or don't steal, don't lie. Okay, so it is based or fixed on moral principle of duties. Actions are judged as right or wrong based on the adherence of these rules, independent of their outcomes. It talks about universal principles, unlike consequentialism, which was talking about subjectivity, that it should based on outcome. It is talking about universal principles. So, like, do not harm. This is a universal principle, that you shouldn't physically harm somebody, okay, or you should keep your promises. You can also name other examples of universal principles or categorical imperatives. So other thing is that never exploit your workers. When we talk about deontology in the world of, say, corporate, okay, so it is universal principle that never ever exploit your employees, pay what they deserve. So this is universal principle, okay, or always pay for the services you take, okay. So it always involves universal moral principles that apply to everyone, unlike consequentialism or utilitarianism or theological theories. They were part of the same bracket, which suggests that it is subjective, it depends on the situation, what is the outcome, okay. This theory talks about universal principles, okay. Then what are categorical imperatives? What we were just talking about, these are universal principles. So the categorical imperative is a key concept in Immanuel Kant's deontological moral philosophy. It evaluates action based on principle of acting by maxims. So never ever harm anybody. This is a categorical imperative. Can anybody say that no, there can be another interpretation to this line? मैं अगर कहूँ कि किसी को कभी harm नहीं करना चाहिए, this is a categorical imperative. Never exploit your workers, this is a categorical imperative. These are universal maxims, okay. These are universal laws. Act only according to maxim, whereby you can at the same time will be that it should become the universal law. So कुछ ऐसी बातें, कुछ ऐसे रूल्स, कुछ ऐसे लॉज, और देखो अभी मीडिया लॉज इसके अंदर अपना पा रहे हैं, ठीक है, जो यूनिवर्सल है, ठीक है. कभी चोरी मत करो, कभी किसी को हार्म मत करो, कभी किसी से बुरा मत कहो, ठीक है. Categorical imperatives establish universal laws of morality, defining an action or deed as moral if it is universal, impartial or rational, okay. So the Chinese philosopher Confucius further elaborates it. So he gives a certain categorical imperatives, like what you do not wish done to yourself, do not do to the others. जो आप नहीं चाहते आपके साथ हो, ठीक है, आप वो दूसरों के साथ मत करो. कितनी खूबसूरत चीज़ है. आप नहीं चाहते आपके साथ कोई बुरा करे, या आप नहीं चाहते आपको कोई फालतू बुरा बोले, या आप नहीं चाहते आपको कोई एक्सप्लॉइट करे, ठीक है, आप वो दूसरों के साथ मत कीजिए. डू नॉट विश फॉर क्विक रिजल्ट्स नॉर लुक फॉर स्मॉल एडवांटेजेस. सो दिस इज जस्ट फॉर योर अंडरस्टैंडिंग. गो थ्रू इट, डोंट लर्न देम, ठीक है. If you seek quick results, it is difficult to attain ultimate goal, okay. Then when you see someone of worth, think of how you may emulate. जब आपको लगता है कि कोई बहुत वर्दी है, तो आप कोशिश कीजिए कि आप किस तरह से उस चीज़ को रेप्लिकेट कर सकते हैं. और अगर आपको लगता है कि कोई अनवर्दी है, then it is problem in your character. So beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder. Then wealth and rank are what people desire, but unless they are obtained in the right way, they may not be possessed. So these are the you can say further elaborations by Confucius, ठीक है. Then now look at this question, principle of utilitarianism by John Stuart Mill, okay. Then obey the professional duty. This will be matched with, see, this is an indirect question. They are not asking you about deontological theory. They are assuming that you already know about that theory, and then you will be matching the correct proponent. अभी हमने इसके बारे में पढ़ा है. Obey the professional duty. It was given by yes, Immanuel Kant, okay. So Kantian theory talks about deontology, which is the idea that you should follow the duty, okay. It talks about universal laws, okay, which are, say, don't harm anybody. Okay, these are called categorical imperatives. These are objective laws. Okay, unlike consequentialism, which is very subjective. Moving forward, another question: the ethical classification of categorical imperative was supported by. देखो कितने इन डेप्थ क्वेश्चन पूछे गए हैं, और भी हैं. There are other questions also on ethics, so I will add those questions in the test on ethical theories. Okay, so you will find those in the PDFs of along with the PDFs of in this unit. Okay, there is a folder unit 6, so you will find that test in that folder only. Okay, so Immanuel Kant, very good. This is a PYQ. These all are PYQs. Good, very good. So to which ethical theory does statement do unto others as you would have them to unto you belong to? इसका जवाब दीजिए मुझे पहले. To which ethical theory does the statement do unto others as you would have them to do unto you belong to? Some of you are giving the answer as utilitarian. Why? I don't know why. We have already talked about it. It is one of the kind of consequentialist theory. Okay, it talks about utility. It talks about maximum pleasure for greatest number of people. So it was. So what we just discussed about it. It came under categorical imperative. क्या the categorical imperative? These are the maxims or universal laws जो यूनिवर्सल है. तो डू अनटू अदर्स एज यू वुड हैव देम टू डू अनटू यू. लोगों के साथ वो करो जो आप चाहते हो कि वो आपके साथ करें. आप चाहते हो लोग आपके साथ सच बोलें तो आप भी सच बोलिए. आप चाहते हो लोग आपको एक्सप्लॉइट ना करें तो आप दूसरों को एक्सप्लॉइट मत कीजिए. ओके, सो इट इज कैटेगोरिकल इम्पेरेटिव. बट देर इज so a lot of people they give this as also as an answer, but this is wrong. Okay, so this quote, do unto others as you would have them to do to you, this is actually a biblical quote. What does that mean? Okay, this is in Bible. Okay, this has been taken from Bible. So somewhere you will find on internet that this is a golden statement, which is something different because it has been picked from Bible. Okay, don't get confused with golden mean. So लोग रैंडमली गूगल सर्च करते हैं, उनको कुछ गोल्डन गोल्डन मिल जाता है, फिर वो मैच करना शुरू कर देते हैं. ठीक है, गोल्डन मीन द कॉन्सेप्ट वाज गिवन बाय एरिस्टोटल. वी आर गोइंग टू डिस्कस दिस इन द कमिंग स्लाइड्स. ठीक है, ये क्लियर है. सो दिस इज अ बिब्लिकल स्टेटमेंट. दिस हैज बीन पिक्ड फ्रॉम बाइबल. So somewhere you will find on internet that this is a golden statement. It has been picked from Bible, but don't get confused with golden mean. It is altogether different thing. Okay. Then we talk about virtue ethics. Okay. So what is virtue? आप लोगों ने चीज़ बहुत बारी सुनी होगी ना कि that person is very virtuous. और मुझे आप लोग इसका हिंदी में मतलब बताइए कुछ लोग, और कुछ लोग मुझे इसका इंग्लिश में बताइए एक या दो लाइन के अंदर. I hope these two theories are clear now. ठीक है, categorical imperatives, deontology, and the theories of theological ethics. Okay, good behavior. What else? Moral behavior. Okay, so virtue ethics, it was given by Aristotle. Okay, unlike consequentialism or deontological theories, it talks about the moral character of a person. Okay, very interesting thing. Okay, let's say what is moral or immoral, it is decided by the character or certain characteristics of a person. So developed by Aristotle and other ancient Greeks, one who has good moral beliefs. Very good, Shrisha. Developing good behavior and adapting it in our day-to-day life activities. Very good. Okay, yes, this was given by Aristotle only. So it suggests that virtue is cultivated through regular practices. So Sarv Gun Sampan. Okay, very good. So, like, good practices could be honest, brave, generous, just. Okay, there can be several other depending on the situation. So, truthful, or you can say somebody who never, who is very honest. Okay, so Aristotle suggests that by practicing these values, okay, when the time comes, when we face a moral dilemma, the person is going to make best decision if that person is virtuous. Okay, so by practicing virtuous, these virtues like being honest, being brave, just, generous, and there can be other values. Virtues ethics helps us to understand what it means to be a virtuous human being. It was given by Aristotle. So a philosophical approach to morality that focuses on the moral character. Okay, unlike other theories of consequence and utility, okay, they were talking about the outcome or the effect of you can say हमारे जो acts थे, ठीक है. This theory is talking about the moral character of a person. Okay, so according to Aristotle, by honing virtuous habits, people will likely to make the right choice when faced with ethical challenges. Okay, by practicing all these virtuous behavior, we are going to make best decisions when we face moral dilemma. Okay, then he also talks about the idea of golden mean. Okay, so what is golden mean? It is not, you can say, or it is the concept that asserts being between the two extremes. So like foolishness and cowardice. ठीक है, इसके बीच में आता है courage. So two extremes. So somebody being very miser and somebody being very what is the word? I'm forgetting that word. Somebody who spends a lot. So somebody, what will be the golden mean? Who is very you can say efficient in planning their investments or spending their salaries. Okay, so the person who is a virtuous person who is never in the excesses or excesses of any extreme ends. So who follows the middle path. Okay, like Buddha is talking about. So the golden mean is the concept put forward by Aristotle that asserts that virtuous moral behavior can be identified as a mean or middle ground or between two extremes. Okay, one of the excess and one of the deficiency. So say somebody who is very arrogant and somebody who has false modesty. So the golden mean would be truth of to oneself or to be honest. Okay, so now look at this. So ethics, deontological theory, we have already discussed about it. Okay, so look at this question. Virtuous communication will be matched with, from unit 1 to unit 6, Aristotle. Okay, good. It will be matched with Aristotle. Okay, then there was also a question about golden mean. Golden mean will also be matched with Aristotle. ठीक है, अब कुछ theories हैं जैसे wheel of ignorance, then theory of justice. Okay, we are going to talk about them in tomorrow's class. Let's have a small recall of what we did today. So we started with the basic idea of ethics. What is ethics? It is the philosophy or branch of philosophy which studies moral behavior. Okay, which lets us decide what is right or wrong. Okay, then we we looked at certain case studies or allegories. Okay, we looked at the case study of this reporter or Mahabharata. Okay, we learned about three basic tenets or foundations of theory of ethics, which is consequentialism and teleological theories. So it talks about the consequence. ठीक है, उसका outcome क्या है. And then we learned about deontology, the theory of deontology, which talks about the duty, professional code of ethics, objectivity. Okay, it was given by Immanuel Kant. Then we learned about the theories of virtue. Okay, virtue ethics by Aristotle. Okay, so guys, that was all from my side. Kindly consider subscribing to our channel if you have already not yet done, and you can also like this video. You can tell me in the comment section if you have any doubt. You can expect a prompt reply from me. We are going to continue from where we are leaving today. Okay, and don't forget to revise, else you won't retain anything. Revision is very important. Okay. Okay, guys, take care. That was all from my side. Okay, golden mean. So golden mean is the average of extremes. Okay, so say there is a person who is very miser is conjuice. Okay, and there is a person who spends a lot on anything. So very we call it impulse purchasing. वो कुछ भी देखता है इंटरनेट पे, उसको कुछ भी एक एड दिखती है, वो खरीद लेता है. So what will be the golden mean? It is not being on the excess of any on any end. Instead we should be here. Okay, we should plan our investment, we should plan our expenses frugally, we should try to save as much as we can. Okay, that is golden mean. So the golden mean is a concept put forward by Aristotle that asserts that virtuous moral behavior can be identified as a mean or middle ground between two extremes. So somebody who is very miser, who even doesn't spend on necessities, okay, they won't even go to the doctor when it is required, and somebody who is you can say impulse buyer, जो भी उसको advertisement दिखती है वो खरीद लेता है. ठीक है. Aristotle is saying golden mean is there the person shouldn't be following the extremes of any end. Okay. Which part of the syllabus will it come under? Media. It will come under ethics, basic idea of ethics. Okay, there are a lot of PYQs which have been asked from this topic. Okay, so that was all. We shall meet in tomorrow's lecture. Okay, and I will also upload the PDF on the study material group. So those